Hello viewers, Gamer Inspector 4700 here, and let me ask you this. What exactly makes The Legend of Zelda, the Minish Cap, so fascinating? Basically, this is a new series where I'm taking a popular or an interesting game, and I share my personal thoughts on what makes it popular or interesting. So, in short, a short review video. And as I stated before, today we are tackling The Legend of Zelda, the Minish Cap, and since we are tackling such a special title, I thought it'd be best if we brought in a very special guest. Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, let me introduce you, give a warm welcome to Link! Ha! Link, my friend, how are you this very fine day? Good, it's good to hear that you're doing well. Anyways, this game, the Minish Cap, is one of your smaller titles, no pun intended, if you know what I mean. Oh, of course you do. Anyways, but back to in all due seriousness, the Minish Cap is one of your smaller titles, but it still uses art style from one of your most popular games, The Wind Waker, which I will touch on later in this video. What are your thoughts on that, Link? Great. It's great to see you and I are on the same page here. It's great to see a fellow Zelda enthusiast. Anyways, I just have one burning question that has been in the back of my mind ever since I played The Legend of Zelda, the Minish Cap. Link! What are your thoughts on Link? Let me rephrase that. Sorry, I got tongue-tied. What are your thoughts on dividing into 4 different people? Brilliant! I knew you'd like it as well, because I thought, wow, that was just brilliant. It's just brilliant. And also, what do you think of shrinking down to the size of an ant? Oh, really? You can demonstrate for us? Please, demonstrate for us right now in this video. My word, he actually shrunk down. I can't even see him anymore. It's not... And let me ask you this, Link. Do you ever feel like you have the danger of being stepped on or eaten by wild cuckoos? I mean, of course you don't, because obviously someone of your caliber is always even the most precise and careful about where they go. Oh crud. For one, this is a Zelda game that is comparatively shorter, no pun intended, than the others in the series. For the most part, the plot is rather straightforward. An evil wizard named Vati appeared, released all the monsters into the world, turned the princess to stone, and it's your job to find a way to rescue her. That, in a nutshell, is what the game is about. You know, when I say it out loud like that, it sounds like the stereotypical fantasy go and save the princess kind of story, but what's cool about this game is that it takes this trope, this formula, and it adds several twists to make it almost like new. One of the coolest twists, both story-wise and gameplay-wise, is that Link eventually meets the Minish, a tiny race of magically gifted people, and Eslo, a talking green cap. Eslo has the power to shrink you down to the size of a Minish through special portals in the land, and this is extremely interesting because it's rather cool to see the world from the perspective of an ant. Furthermore, this mechanic works extremely well both visually and story-wise, as 2 of the 6 main dungeons in Minish Cap are actually small areas and can only be accessed by a Minish-sized being, and these dungeons, the Deepwood Shrine and the Temple of Droplets, do an excellent job of making you feel tiny. Another personal favorite Minish-sized area of mine is the library in Castletown, because the elder of that area, Elder Library, real creative name there, lives in a hollowed-out book. If there was one area that did an excellent job of making you feel small, it's this area here. My only question is, what if someone decides to check out that book? I'm not going to delve too much into the story since that would be spoilers for a 13-year-old game, but rest assured, all you really need to know is that, in short, Link is going to go get the 4 elements in order to restore the Picori Blade, which will then have the power to revert Princess Zelda to her natural form. These elements are obtained by clearing the game's dungeons, which comes to a total of 6. As you can see, there are 2 dungeons that do not house elements, but again, I won't go into depth why because of spoilers. Even though these dungeons are few in number, their quality is incredible. One of the things that make these dungeons unique are the items. You have classics like the boomerang, the bow, even the Pegasus boots and Rock's cape later on, but you also have new items like the Gust Jar, the Cane of Pachi, and the Mole Mitts. The way these items can be used can make for some pretty interesting scenarios, like sucking a mushroom close to you to launch yourself to the other side of a cliff, or jumping up through the cloud layers, or even just straight up vandalism. I think my personal favorite item is the Cane of Pachi, because you can flip objects which otherwise couldn't be flipped, like spiky platforms or pots. You don't even need to touch the pot. You can just be lazy and Cane of Pachi that pot upside down. Why do you need a pot upside down? I don't know. Actually, I do know, because there are secret Minish portals under the pots. Why are there secret Minish portals under the pots? I don't know, but it's awesome. What else might you need to flip using the Cane of Pachi? Literally anything. You can flip a boo, you can flip a pillow, you can flip a chair, you can flip a couch, you can flip a house upside down. Actually, I don't think you can do that, at least not in game. If you could do that in real life, then you'd be a jerk and a ruiner of several lives. So I don't recommend doing that, but Cane of Pachi can flip anything upside down, and flipping things upside down is super useful. Thank you, and goodbye. While this is really nothing new to the Zelda series, the dungeons have special mechanics in them that make them even more solid and even more fun, like riding a minecart down a specific path, or flipping switches depending on whether you need light to shine through the ceiling or not. In short, the dungeons are really solid, and they're probably some of my favorite in the series. Another thing that makes Minish Cap more fascinating is its art style, which takes inspiration directly from the Wind Waker, and the conversion from 3D cel-shaded graphics to 2D interpretation definitely came out well. In fact, a lot of this game took inspiration from the Wind Waker, both in its art style and even a bit of its music, which I'll touch on more later. I guess I just really like seeing the enemies, the characters, and even the environment in this sort of like art style. It pays homage to the original top-down Zelda classics like A Link to the Past, while also merging the more newer generations of the time, which at the time was Wind Waker. In short, it's just a really beautiful game to look at. The music was also brilliant. It had its original score, of course, which came out really well, giving off a classic Zelda adventure feel, but also had renditions of previous tracks, like Hyrule Field and Hyrule Castle from A Link to the Past, and even the Indoors theme from Wind Waker. I think that my favorite track from this game is the Final Dungeons theme, which, again, I'm not going to spoil a 13-year-old game, but that's just tough luck for you. In the end, I feel like the Legend of Zelda the Minish Cap gets its uniqueness from its main game mechanic of shrinking down to the size of an ant, its art style that was successfully inspired by Wind Waker, its items and dungeons that are just completely unique in their own right, and its interesting take on the classic Zelda / Save the Princess formula, which adds several twists to make it like new. If you're a huge fan of the Zelda franchise, I highly recommend you check this game out. It's probably on top of my top 10 favorite Zelda games, well, top 5 if we want to be more specific. It's just an incredible game, and I cannot recommend it enough. Anyways, that is what makes The Legend of Zelda the Minish Cap so fascinating. If you liked this video, then be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more reviews like this in the future. I thoroughly enjoy doing this. Really quickly, huge thanks to my older brother Jack, who is basically manning the camera and just helping me direct this entire thing. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go beyond the lamb because I accidentally murdered Link. So, see ya!
Hey viewers, it's Jack here. I'm taking over Will's channel now. It's kind of a coup that I'm just kind of presenting. He's on the run. I'll be doing his next video, so we'll be talking about other games, not really Legend of Zelda or stuff like that. Haven't really decided what I'm going to talk on yet, but I can promise you it's going to be pretty fascinating. Cool. So he's doing that. I'll see you guys next week.